Call to order the Sholo Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting for Tuesday, November 9th, 2021. Call to order shows all except for Commissioner, name went right over his, Lewis. Lewis is present. And we'll start with invocation with Vice Chair Barlow and Pledge of Allegiance with Commissioner Hilgart. Please rise if you'd like.
Gracious God, we thank you for the opportunity to be able to gather here this evening to just be a part of this community that you've blessed us with. We thank you for the many blessings that you've given to this community, and just for the chance that we have to be a part of the prosperity and growth of this community going forward. And we just ask that you would guide and direct our decision-making process this evening, and let it be in line with your will for the growth of this community that you've given us. We ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this evening we have one item on new business. It's a public hearing and consideration of zone change request 605-03-118 submitted by Ryan Ellsworth of Paradise Acres LLC to amend the zoning conditions for property located at 700 and 760 North 4th Avenue, Sholo, Arizona, that being APN 210-04-031 through 210-04-051. Ms. Fetzler.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Ryan Ellsworth of Paradise Acres LLC has submitted a request to amend Condition 7 of Ordinance Number 2016-03 and 2019-03 to extend the timeline for removal of all manufactured homes on the subject property for an additional 5 years. The original time frame for removal of the manufactured homes was based on a commitment made by Mr. Ellsworth during the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of October 25th, 2016, and was added to the conditions of approval. At the regular meeting of November 1st, 2016, Sholo City Council approved Ordinance 2016-03 to rezone the subject property from MH, manufactured housing, and R1-7, which is single-family residential 7,000 square feet, to R2-7, which is single and multiple family residential 7,000 square feet, to allow the construction of 58 apartment units on the Paradise Trailer property. This ordinance became effective on December 1st, 2016, which means that the timeline for the removal for the remaining manufactured homes will expire on December 1st, 2021. At the regular meeting of February 19th, 2019, the Sholo City Council approved an amendment to the zone change request to replace the solid wall requirement along the east side of the subject property and North 4th Avenue with split rail fencing and vegetative screening. All other zoning conditions were unchanged. The Commission recommendations and conditions of both ordinances are attached for your review. The current zoning of the surrounding properties includes to the north R1-7, to the south MH, to the east MH, R1-7, and R2-7, and to the west R1-7. The current land uses of the surrounding properties include to the north the Sholo Junior High School and Auditorium, to the south, east, and west single-family residential. Transmittal memos were sent to all affected agencies, and applicable comments received include Timber Mesa Fire Medical District stated that all fire finals are subject to field inspection and tests, and to please call minimum 48 hours in advance for an appointment. Stamped reviewed plans are to be kept on site for inspections. A neighborhood meeting was held on October 14th, 2021. However, the applicant was unable to attend. There were 2 sets of property owners in attendance, and questions regarding the nature of the request and general questions regarding the zone change process. A second neighborhood meeting was held on October 28th, 2021, and no property owners attended this meeting. Staff mailed letters to all property owners within 300 feet of the subject property, posted the property, and published a public notice in the newspaper in accordance with applicable requirements. Staff has received several phone calls in opposition to this request. After reviewing the findings of fact, discussions with the applicant, and because the request is consistent with the City of Shiloh General Plan and Zoning Ordinance, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve the request submitted by Ryan Ellsworth of Paradise Acres LLC to amend the zoning conditions for property located at 700 and 760 North 4th Avenue, Shiloh, Arizona, that being 210-04-031 through 210-04-051, and forward this recommendation to the City Council subject to the following conditions. 1. Conditions 6 through 8 and 9 of ordinances number 2016-03 and 2019-03 shall remain in effect. Condition 7 shall be amended to allow an additional 2 years to remove the remaining manufactured homes on the subject property. Any additional extensions to this timeframe will require City Council approval with notice provided to neighboring property owners. The painted or stained solid or masonry concrete fence on the west and remaining portion on the south sides of the subject property shall be installed by July 1st, 2022. This would change condition number 7 as approved by City Council and allow 2 more years for the manufactured homes to be removed from the subject property. And any more extensions to this time frame would require approval with notices being sent to all property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. This would also require the solid fencing along the west and remaining portion of the south sides of the property to be completed no later than July 1st, 2022. The applicant, as well as staff, are available for questions.
Thank you, Ms. Speckelgauder. So, if I may, do we have any of the people that called in, what they called in and what you said they were in opposition, what they had stated?
Mr. Tradaskis took those phone calls.
So I spoke to both property owners who did call. Both of them are adjacent to the property on the west side. So they do abut the subject property. Both of them were concerned that 5 years was too long. They felt that the applicant had made a commitment to have the homes removed within 5 years. They felt that he should probably live by that commitment, or if an extension was to be granted, that it should be shorter than 2 years or 5 years. One of the property owners did call me this afternoon and left a voicemail indicating that they were planning on being here at the meeting. Unfortunately, they were not feeling well, so they chose to stay home, which we appreciate. However, they indicated on the phone that they felt anything longer than a 9-month extension would be too long. So that was the 2 phone calls that we received, or from the 2 property owners.
And commissioners have questions for staff?
Yeah, I guess my question is, why did we land on 5 years as opposed to maybe a 2 or a 3? Is there a code somewhere in the city, or is that just what the request was?
So it was in the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. It came up during discussion, and the applicant indicated that he felt that the 5 years was enough time to get all the manufactured homes removed from the property at that time.
So I guess my question is, why another 5 years as opposed to a shorter time frame, though?
That would be a good question for the applicant.
Okay, fair enough.
Any other questions for staff? Vice Chair Barlow? Oh, sorry. Adam. Oh, 4. Yeah. Vice Chair Barlow.
So with the condition number 2 on the staff recommendations, it talks about an additional 2 years. I guess I'm a little bit confused with the difference between the 5 years and the 2 years.
Sure. So the 5 years is what the applicant had requested.
Now or back in 2016?
Now they're
Okay.
requesting an additional 5 years. However, staff felt that 2 years was a compromise between what the other neighboring property owners wanted and what the applicant is requesting.
Okay, so just to clarify, the recommended motion would include this 2 years, not the full 5.
Correct.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hilgart.
I'm good with
Oh, okay,
Vice Chair's,
that got answered.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any, Commissioner Roberts?
Do we know how many manufactured homes are still remaining?
22.
Yeah, staff did a windshield survey a week or so ago, and we counted 22. And those include, so when we use the term manufactured home in the staff report, we're using that as kind of an overarching term to include park models as well as like campers and RVs. So there's 22 separate dwelling units there remaining on the property.
Keep going.
Do we know how many of those units have, do we know what the age demographic is in those units?
Staff does not have that information.
We don't know if those are being used as rental units right now or if they're owner occupied.
Staff is aware that 4 of the units are actually owned by the applicant and are being utilized as rentals. The remaining 18, we do not know the demographics, whether they're owner occupied or if they're being sublet out to other individuals or families there.
My indication in doing some research is that a lot of them are being sublet, but the owners are no longer, the actual owners are no longer, but that's just what I've been told. So I don't have any concrete information on that.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, anybody have any questions for the applicant?
I do.
If the applicant would come forward, please state your name and address.
My name is Ryan Ellsworth. I live at 1301 East Whipple here in Shoalo.
Commissioner Roberts.
Thank you for coming tonight, Mr. Ellsworth. I guess my biggest question is, I know that you've gotten how many units built so far on the east side of the property?
32.
I'm sorry?
32 apartments.
Do you feel like that was difficult to accomplish in 5 years?
No.
Okay. Do you feel like you can build an additional 58 units in 2 years?
It'd be a total of 58, so it's an additional 26.
I'm sorry. So 26 more for a total of
To
58.
clarify to planning and zoning why I'm here tonight, it's not really by my choice. If I really had my choice, I wanted the mobiles gone. The one thing I wasn't expecting 5 years ago, and it completely surprised me, was having people come in my office in tears saying, I own these homes and there's not a place anywhere in Shoalo there's not any empty spaces, there's not a mobile home park that will take my old 1970, 1965. I have nowhere to go. I'm going to be homeless. I can't do this. What can you do? I wasn't expecting that. Absolutely not expecting that. I own 180 apartments right now. I would love to have another 26 apartments there and not old mobile homes. So if I'm being honest about it, I'm just telling you, that's what I had planned. The reason I owned when I had an opportunity to buy 4 of the mobile homes in there was because I can't even get back there to build the masonry wall. If you guys go see how that's done without me tearing something out to get in there to build that wall. My whole plan was to get those mobiles gone, build my wall, build apartments. It's just so easier when you have nothing in your way. And I wasn't expecting the tears. And I'm just being as honest as I can that these people can't afford to go anywhere else and there's no place in Shoalo for them to go. So I'm here on their behalf, and I told staff, and I've told the people there that if you guys say no and city council says no, then fine. I did my job. I went in front of council, asked for an extension. If you guys say no, I'm tearing out mobiles or telling them to move them out. They've had 5 years to move them. The thing that I've done different this time is I went around to every single one of those owners of the mobiles, and I had them sign a paper that they knew within so many years, those mobiles have to be gone. So I wanted to protect myself that I'm not dealing with this again. I don't know if that helps clarify my position, but I'm just trying to share with you what I wasn't expecting when I bought the property. So
It does, because that's been one of the concerns is we know that there is no available place for them to move these units to.
right.
Little, if any, possibility of that. And many of them are, what's the average lot rent that you're getting on those units right now?
Between $350 and $400 a month, that they get their water and sewer and garbage included in that.
And how much is the average rent on your apartments? Those same apartments?
$800 to $1,000.
There's going to be a significant increase for those tenants.
Correct.
Do you feel as though an additional 2 years is enough time for them to be able to find another location to live?
No. Next time I'll have them come in and they can do the tiers with you guys instead of with me. I don't know what to do. I mean, there's no place in city of Show Low for people to move. I mean, my apartment started at $700 or $700 a month. I'm up to $1,000 now with the cost of utilities. I mean, I include all utilities. I include a washer and dryer. We right now have a waiting list of 42 people on our waiting list of people looking for rentals. I get phone calls on a daily basis, people looking for a place. If I moved out the 22 mobile homes and built the 26 apartments I'm allowed to, I've only solved 4 people's problems in the city of Show Low. I haven't accomplished anything. You know, the reason I bought the Jefferson Academy and turned that into 11 apartments there was such a demand for apartments. I did that. I've got room on that property to build additional apartments. And so I'm going to probably sit in staff sometime and consider that. There's just a huge need in Show Low for some affordable housing. And when we include all utilities with the washer and dryer, we happen to be the neatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, I'm just telling you, we have a huge waiting list. So I really wish I wasn't here for this. I'm being honest with you guys. I drive down that road. I think I've done a pretty rock solid job on how nice that place looks compared to what it did 5 years ago. I'm pleased with what we've accomplished. That doesn't mean that I'm jumping up and down on having old mobile homes. I got people walk out of nice and brand new apartments and they look and they see old mobile homes. I don't know what else to say. I'm just telling you that I just wasn't expecting it, you know? So
Would you expect that 5 years would make a difference?
what I'm saying is I had them sign papers.
Okay.
I don't know what else to do. On my point, the mistake I made 5 years ago was I didn't think this would be a problem. I thought everybody would be on board. Say, hey, Ryan, clean this place up. Let's move out of here. Let's get rid of the Roach Coach Motel. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm pleased with what I've done, but I'm not jumping up and down, you know?
Mhm.
But I'm committed to stay with the 5 years because I've got their signatures. I feel that they're invested this time versus that they were the last time. That's the only thing I could offer differently. So
To be clear, it's just the to staff, the mobile homes just have to be removed. It doesn't have to be, the apartments have to be built within this time frame. It's
Correct.
set. It's just the removal of the RVs.
Correct.
yep, we could have a nice parking lot there.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. So
And then, yeah, I guess I don't know why the original it was originally a zone change, correct?
Correct. So in 2016, Mr. Ellsworth approached the city with a request to rezone the property to allow 4 apartments.
Okay.
Which is where that commitment and that condition stemmed from, was from that process.
Any other further questions for,
No, I think you've done an excellent job of answering our concerns, which is where are these people going to go?
where are they going to go? Right. And I understand. I mean, and with what building costs are and all the other kind of stuff's going on, is that it's just, I mean, I've been doing this for 35 years, and I'm not jumping up and down on what the horizon looks like with the housing industry. You know, it's just it's rough. I feel for these people. You know, and so and most of them aren't sublet. I mean, I'm talking when I've got good, honest family people raising their families there. They're hard workers. I will tell you one of the first things I did. I met with the city police, and we found out where our biggest problems area was, and right now where all those apartments were, is we got rid of those problems the quickest and the fastest and cleaned that area up and just made that a priority, and we kind of just put the hammer down, you know, and so the other ones that are there, they're just good, honorable, hardworking people, and I admire them, respect them, and so for that I can't.
So the homes that are left that you need to remove has not been a big crime spot for the city at this point.
We've had a couple of issues that I got a hold of the people who own the mobiles, and we got rid of those problems. They know I don't put up with it. I mean, the one thing they know is I just don't. I mean, they're gone instantly. That's one thing we just don't deal with. You know, one time's call and it's instantly gone. Usually I send them a notice that they got to move their mobile in 30 days. And so somebody else gets something done real quick, you know. So I don't deal with that at all. So I feel the police and I have a very good working relationship. And when there's an issue, they know how to get a hold of me and deal with those problems. I've dealt with the same things over on West Owens. We cleaned that whole area up there. I think Justin can vouch on how it looks now compared to what it looked like, you know, when I bought that project, you know. So.
And there is a huge demand for apartments and lower cost units. It's non-existent ever since COVID hit and all the houses got sold.
Right.
And so that is a concern, is how do we provide that low income housing? Do you have plans to build other apartment units, complexes in the city?
Yeah, actually, I do have the plans with it, but right now we got to get some pricing of materials that got to change. It's lightening some, but you know, right now it's not a good situation. It's not fun to go to work right now. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who do it, but you know, you have so many people fighting in a way that I'm past that stage in my life of trying to worry about trying to bend that nickel that hard, if that makes any sense. When the pricing gets more reasonable, then yeah, I'd love to get back in there and do some stuff. I've got a son that gets off a mission here in a year and a half, and I've told him he's got 26 apartments to build, so that's what I'm gonna let him do it.
We appreciate the information you've given us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ellsworth.
You bet.
So this is a public hearing, so if there's any member of the public that would to speak on this specific topic, please come on up. Just need your name and your address, please. I need you to do it, Mike, please. Just do
Oh,
it.
sorry. Josh Johnson, 760 North Fort Drive. Reason I'm here, I've known Gentry. I've worked for Gentry for 8 years at one point. A lot of tough times. We are full-time caregivers for my mother-in-law. My wife's quit job after job, take her back and forth to the valley, this and that. Right now is especially difficult. As he says, high demand for him getting apartments, but everywhere else is full as well. If anybody's tried to look, housing themselves, a 3-bedroom a couple of years ago used to rent for $850, $1,100 a month. People are looking for $1,700, $1,900. 2 bedrooms are $1,100 or more. So it's just right there in itself it's super tough right now. So we would appreciate it, and hopefully we can get some more time. But at the end of the day, he's correct on what he said. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Anybody else? Okay, with that, I'll bring it back to the commission. If you have any further questions for staff. If somebody would like to make a motion. Commissioner Roberts.
So I move to recommend approval of this Jones Lane zone change request 605-03-118 submitted by Ryan Ellsworth of Paradise Acres LLC to amend the zoning condition to extend the timeline for removal of all manufactured homes for property located at 776 and 760 North 4th Avenue, Cholo, Arizona, that being APN 210-04031 through 210-04051, subject to staff recommendations, and to forward this recommendation to the City Council.
So a motion with a second by Commissioner Adams. So any discussion? With that, we'll take a vote. So all in favor, say aye. Raise your hand. Aye. And that's all. So none opposed. They'll pass. And I just want to remind everyone that we're making a recommendation to City Council. So City Council will be the next move for this.
Correct. So.
It's for 2 years. I'm sorry.
Correct. So as stated in the motion, the commission recommendation is for 2-year extension with additional year extensions being able to be granted by City Council. They would not have to go through the entire zone change process. They would need to submit a request. We would send the letters out to all property owners within 300 feet, letting them know that we had received that request, and it would go to City Council just as a regular business item. This matter has been scheduled for consideration by the City Council next week at their regular meeting. That is also scheduled for a public hearing. So same format you saw tonight, we'll do it again next week with the City Council. Thank you.
Okay, next is call to the public. If anyone would like to speak on an issue that's not on the agenda, you can come forward. If not, I'll not do the boilerplate. Okay. So item 8 is approval of minutes for Planning and Zoning Commission. A is a Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting of October 12th, and B is Planning and Zoning Commission study session October 26th, 2021. We put these together. It's like sort of like a consent. So I know motion will be approved both. So motion approved by Commissioner Hilgart, second by Roberts. All in favor? Aye. None opposed. So that we'll move to summary of current events. Start with Commissioner Roberts.
We're doing pretty well. I want to applaud the city staff, all of them, because we've made some, I think if you notice, there's a lot of Christmas decorations out already. They're doing a good job. City's doing well. I just want to say thank you to all our city employees for all that they've done.
Commissioner Hilgard.
So I'd like to draw attention to the community fast and the fact that food scarcity is an issue that's endemic across all of rural Arizona, and this is an opportunity for those who are blessed to give something back.
Commissioner Adams.
Yeah, I'd just like to, I guess, commend staff on some of the activities that we've had in the past couple of months. The opportunity to attend the daddy-daughter dance, which I assume was Parks and Rec. Maybe if I'm wrong, I'm sure Justin will kind of correct me. And then a couple Halloween activities as well, and all seemed very well planned and extremely well attended. So just kudos to the city and for all their hard work in putting that together.
Commissioner Hatch.
Another great day in Sholo. Glad to be here.
Vice Chair Barlow.
Just a shout out to people like Mr. Ellsworth and others in this community that are trying to build things and get things developed in this town and give people a shot to actually live in this town and to grow this community. I think that's super important. So it's cool to get to kind of experience a little bit of that with meetings like tonight, and hopefully we can keep that process moving forward.
I just thank the public for coming out to this meeting, and also those that are viewing on Sholo TV. It's yes, the Compassion Fast is a phenomenal thing that I've seen grow over it's the 9th year of that, and it gets bigger and bigger every single year. That's phenomenal. The pool's going to be closing coming up, so be aware of that. I don't know the exact dates, but just check it out in the Aquatic Center. The Aquatic Center will be closing coming up here, and everybody get ready for Thanksgiving. Director Dragaskis.
Thank you. Just a few things. So as previously mentioned, the Community Fast, it's a great opportunity for our community. This was founded by a non-city organization. It was a group of concerned individuals, primarily church-based. They got together and said, we see a need in this community, an opportunity for people to step up and give voluntarily. That has been extremely successful. We're grateful to them and to those who participate in that. If you're interested in participating, the idea is that you go without a meal or two, and the money that you would have spent on that meal, you donate to perhaps make somebody's life a little bit brighter during the holiday season. You don't necessarily have to go without a meal. For some people that's pretty difficult to do. But if you're still willing to donate, they'll take it whether you fasted or not. Those donations can be made at any of our local banks as well as City Hall. And 100% of the money donated goes to local families and those in need. They don't take any of it for administrative costs. They don't, use it for anything except for just straight donations to help. So we're grateful for those community members who step up and do that. Also, we have the light parade scheduled for the first Saturday in December. That's a popular event, so we'd invite everybody to attend that. Also, just scheduling for the commission. We do not have a meeting scheduled for the week of November 23rd. That is Thanksgiving week, and just by our rules of procedure, we permanently do not have that meeting. We want to give our commission, as well as members of the public who might be interested in attending a meeting, the opportunity to spend that with their family instead of here with us. We do have a meeting tentatively scheduled for December 14th, and that would be our last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of the year. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, sir. And seeing no further business, I'll adjourn this meeting.